Hi, I'm Mike, founder of GoodBed. Today we're going to give you our in-depth review of the Series 3 medium pillow top mattress from Beautyrest Black. This is one of their premium mattresses. It's one of their most popular mattresses in this premium collection, so we're excited to show it to you. Stick around. Now, if you've seen some of our videos before, you may recognize that I'm having some vocal issues. Really what I'm working on is my impression of Marge Simpson's sisters, and I hope that's coming across well, but apologies, bear with me, and we'll get through this together. Now, before I get into our review of this mattress, I want to point you to a few companion resources that I think will be really helpful and are related for anyone who's interested in really any of the Beautyrest Black models. For one thing, we've done overview videos of both the entire quilted portion of the Beautyrest Black lineup, which includes 20 total models, where we went through not only all the components and materials and construction characteristics that they all have in common, but we also walked through what changes as you step up through that line and gave you just a high-level take on the feels of the different models available in the Series 1, 2, 3, and 4 of that entire lineup. We also did a similar video for the Beautyrest Black Hybrids, which is 11 total models. So you want to definitely check out either of those videos depending on what you're most interested in to get a broader context on this collection. The second resource would be our website, goodbed.com, where you can look up any specific model you're interested in within these either the Beautyrest Black quilted or hybrid collections and get a really convenient rundown of all the assessments we made across all the areas that we're going to cover in this video. And you can compare them side by side using our side-by-side comparison tool against one another or against, for that matter, any other mattress you may be considering. So you can find links to those right in the description of this video. And then of course, this video is going to be a little different because what we did here is we got to pull one of their most popular models in this Beautyrest Black collection into our test lab and really run some in-depth tests on it. And that's what we're going to be sharing today. Now, if you've never seen one of our videos before or been to our website, the number one thing that you have to know about mattresses is that they're highly personal. And this means the best mattress for you will be very different from the best mattress for me. And there's no such thing as the best mattress overall. So if you see a website that has the best mattress for side sleepers or anything along those lines, that is not a real mattress expert providing that information. That's really just a clickbait type of website. What you really should be thinking about when you're shopping for a mattress are what we call the 3 Fs. Fit, feel, and features. Fit are the characteristics of a mattress that can make it better or worse for you depending on your body shape, weight, and preferred sleep positions. Feel are the characteristics of the mattress that cannot be universally better or worse at all. They can only be better or worse for your personal preferences. And features are the characteristics of a mattress that actually can be universally better or worse, however, may or may not be a priority for you personally. So let's start with fit, since that's what determines to what degree you're going to get the two things everybody has to get from their mattress: proper spinal alignment and adequate pressure relief. And in the case of this Series 3 medium pillow top, obviously I should preface this by saying that fit is going to depend, because mattresses are personal, it's going to depend a lot on what mattress we're talking about. So I'm going to be talking about the one we have right here. And we found this to be really the best fit for side sleepers. This is a mattress that has a lot more conformance, a lot more cushioning depth than kind of an average mattress, and a lot more ability, therefore, to accommodate the curves of a side sleeper. We found that a light side sleeper would get excellent spinal alignment, and even the heaviest side sleepers, let's say people over 250 pounds, would get really still very good spinal alignment on this mattress. Likewise, back sleepers, still good. We would say actually the lightest back sleepers, under 150 pounds, let's say, probably still very good spinal alignment was our assessment. And even really the heaviest back sleepers, maybe I'd start to worry a little bit, just because there are a lot of comfort layers between you and the support unit here, that I might worry just a little bit of sinkage in the heaviest part of your body if you're over 250 pounds. I would still, though, say that the back support for that heavier back sleeper would be still good. Now, for stomach sleepers, typically we're urging stomach sleepers to stay, away from memory foam in general, as well as away from mattresses that have a little bit deeper cushioning, because the main thing you want to avoid on your stomach is overarching of your back, which happens when your hips sink too far into the mattress, and that can cause real back pain for a stomach sleeper. So on this one, you do have some memory foam, you do have some cushioning depth. However, it's not the softest mattress, it's not the kind of most ooey gooey memory foam. So I think a lighter stomach sleeper could get away with sleeping on this mattress, certainly if you're a kind of a part-time stomach sleeper, I'd say the spinal alignment would be good, not the best, but still good. By the time you get to, let's say, someone over 250 pounds, I'd be much more wary of recommending stomach sleeping on this mattress, but I might still recommend it above other mattresses that have a lot of memory foam in them. I'd still call it maybe pretty good spinal alignment. Now, in terms of pressure relief, really this is going to be a chief concern for side sleepers. Back and stomach sleepers don't really need to worry too much about pressure relief in the first place, but on your side, your weight is distributed over the smallest surface area. So that's where you can accumulate some pressure points. And what we found here is that the pressure relief here is going to be very good. In fact, I would say for the lightest side sleepers, those under 150 pounds, I'd say it would be excellent pressure relief on this mattress. And even for the heaviest side sleepers, there's enough cushioning layers here where you're not gonna bottom out on this mattress, and you're gonna find still very good pressure relief, even if you're someone who's a side sleeper over 250 pounds. All right, now let's move on to the second of the 3 F's, which is feel. And again, these are the things that can't be universally better or worse. They can only be better or worse for your personal preferences. And the first of these is softness. And with regards to the Series 3 medium pillow top, we would say that this is in fact a medium on our softness spectrum. We've got pretty specific gradations within that, and we would put this kind of towards the softer end of that classification, but it's not soft enough to move us into the next bucket over, which would be medium soft. And this is obviously also what we said when we tested this before, and we covered it in that overview video that I previously referenced. So you'll see also, if you're interested in how this softness of this model compares to the other models in Series 3 or across the entire Beautyrest Black collection for that matter, just refer to that video and you'll get that information, or to our website where all that same information is readily accessible. Now, one of the other things that we mentioned in that video is that one common theme across many levels of this collection is that the amount of softness tends to be a little bit less than the amount of overall cushioning depth in this line. So what you see is that for something that has, say, medium softness like this one, the amount of cushioning depth, which was reflective of more the experience of sleeping in your mattress versus on it, it's going to be how much do you sink in, how much does it conform to your curves, your pointy parts, if you will. The amount of that is going to generally exceed the amount of general softness within this collection, and I'd say this medium pillow top is a good example of that. We found that the amount of cushioning depth here to be above average, deeper than average. It's a 1 through 9 spectrum. We would put, average is 5. We'd put this at 7 in terms of the amount of overall cushioning depth. So that's going to mean that you're going to get a little bit more of that hugged or cradled sensation on this mattress. The next feel characteristic is memory feel. And we're gonna show you the layers of this mattress a little bit later. We're gonna open it up and get you an inside peek at it. But the key here is that the memory foam, there is more memory foam here than there is memory feel. In total, there's over 3 inches of memory foam in this mattress, but it doesn't necessarily have as much memory feel as a lot of mattresses that have that amount of memory foam. And that's because the memory foam used in this mattress tends to be a little quicker responding, at least by and large. There's a few layers that are a little bit slower. We'll show you all of that later again. But by and large, what we would say is that the amount overall of memory feel in this mattress is roughly average, is roughly kind of a medium amount. And that has to be taken in the context of the fact that memory foam is such a pervasive material used in mattresses today that the average mattress on the market today has some amount of memory feel, and this would be kind of consistent with what that average amount is. Now, the next feel characteristic is bounce, and this is a model that does have a very robust coil unit, so you're certainly going to get some bounce from those coils, but you're going to have to kind of put your whole weight down on the mattress in order to get that bounce. You're going to have to kind of really put a lot of force down, because those coils have a lot of comfort materials on top of them that don't have as much bounce. Some of the comfort materials are pretty quick responding and have a little bit of quick responsive bounciness to them, but some of the memory foams, even if they're not slow responding memory foams, still don't have bounce to them. So on balance, we would say that this mattress has just a little bit above average amount of total bounce. Okay, so now we can move on to the third of the 3 F's, which are the features of the mattress. And again, these are the things that can be better or worse, but may or may not be a priority for you personally. And the first of these is motion isolation, which, as you may know, refers to what degree is someone on, say, this side of the mattress going to be aware of or disturbed by what's happening on the other side of the mattress. And this was an area where we found that the Series 3 medium pillow top was very effective. And in fact, I would expect that would be true across the Beautyrest Black collection by and large. This one though has quite a bit of comfort materials which act as kind of a shock absorber, particularly the memory foams do, and any kind of softness also helps kind of absorb motion more so than firmer foams do. And then on top of that, the support unit here is a pocket spring unit, and that means that the springs can move independently in their pockets from one another, meaning the motion over here can kind of go in and compress these springs without affecting these springs over here. So the combination of those two things leads to this mattress having very good motion isolation. The next feature we test is cooling, and this is going to be particularly important if you have a tendency to sleep hot during the night. Many people don't, and for those people, I'd probably say you don't necessarily need to worry about that too much, but if you do, then you might want to take a look at the written version of this review, which is going to be linked to directly in the description of this video, because we are going to be doing a series of robust cooling tests that unfortunately, as of the time we're filming this, we have not yet been able to complete. But by the time we publish this video, we will have completed them, and we will include those results in the written version of this review, which again will be linked to in the description of this video. Now, what will you find there? We do 3 key tests now with our cooling. We're able to test the initial coolness, which is essentially how cool will the mattress feel in those 10 to 20 minutes while you're falling asleep. And we can test the all-night cooling, which is basically how good is the mattress in terms of avoiding heat from getting trapped up close to your body over the course of an 8-hour period. And then the third test we do is related to moisture, which is an independent variable here. And we can also measure how good is the mattress at avoiding the moisture that your body emits during the night from being trapped up close to your body, which can reinforce or even create the sensation of overheating in itself. So if this is an area of concern for you, you're definitely going to want to check out that link to see the results of all 3 of those tests. The next feature we test is edge support. And again, later in the video, we're going to show you the insides of this mattress. And one of the things you're going to be able to see is the edge support in this mattress, which comes from a nice firm 4-inch rail of foam that runs around the entire perimeter of the coil unit. And it does give really all the Beautyrest Black mattresses a nice, firm, consistent edge. That being said, this particular model, the medium pillow top, probably is not the best in the collection in terms of this particular feature. And that's because of the fact that on top of that support unit, you got maybe 7 inches of comfort layer here, comfort materials here, that don't really have any edge support features. So as you can see here, when I'm sitting on the edge, there is a fair bit of depression coming from just concentrating my weight in a relatively small area on this edge. But that being said, when I'm lying on the edge of the mattress, which is really, in our view, an even more important test for edge support, since that is the test that really affects kind of the usable surface area of the mattress while you're sleeping, it performs better. The edge of this mattress is more supportive when I'm lying on it than when I'm sitting on it. So on balance, I would say that even in the case of this Series 3 medium pillow top, the edge support here is still very good. The next feature we look at is ease of repositioning, which is probably not going to be much of a factor for most people, but we like to cover it knowing that it is a concern for some. And particularly when you have a mattress that does use memory foam like this one. This one, on top of having memory foam, it does also have deeper cushioning, as I described, which can be an impediment to moving around on the mattress. But overall, I would say that the way this mattress is quilted and the type of memory foam used, which as I mentioned, is a little bit faster responding, not so delayed in its recovery, I'd say on balance, you're gonna have a much easier time moving around on this mattress than you would on most mattresses that have 3 inches of memory foam in them. And on balance, we would say that the ease of repositioning here is good. The next feature we test is the use of natural materials in the mattress. And in this case, it's not really an area of focus for this mattress or this product line. It's not something that Beautyrest emphasizes or really makes any claims about. But we do know that for many people, what they're really concerned about with regards to natural materials is the lack of harmful chemicals in the mattress. And in that respect, what I can tell you is that all of the foams used in this mattress are certified to the CertiPure standard, which is a standard that looks for both the presence of and off-gassing of various harmful materials and certifies that neither are present beyond some minimally acceptable threshold. So that is definitely something, if this is an area of concern for you, that you can take a lot of reassurance from with regards to any of the Beautyrest Black mattresses. The next feature we test is adjustable base compatibility, because that's something that more and more of our readers are asking us about these days. And first and foremost, all of the Beautyrest Black mattresses are technically adjustable base compatible, meaning you can use them, they're designed to bend and flex for use on an adjustable base, and it certainly won't invalidate your warranty in any way to do that. That being said, we do some tests because we do know that not all compatible mattresses are equally compatible, and this one in particular is one that is very thick, which is something that can kind of work against you with regards to using a mattress on an adjustable base. And we tested this one, and what I can tell you is that it probably did better than we expected as it relates to a mattress that is 16¼ inches tall. It was able to conform to the base. Our tests, essentially, the most rigorous test we do is we elevate both the head and foot completely and try to figure out not only how well does the bed conform to the base, especially when it's new and hasn't had a chance to be kind of broken in, for example, as well as does anything kind of weird happen in that kind of most articulated position. And in this case, what I can tell you is it conformed pretty well. For a mattress with this much thickness, it did much better than we expected, but it still was not as good as some of the others that we've tested. And in terms of anything weird happening, the only thing I would say, this was totally to be expected with any kind of mattress that has a couple inches of quilting, is that you do find that the quilting of a mattress, particularly if it's as thick as this one where there's 2 inches of foam or more, it will bunch up a little bit in the valley that gets created between kind of your thighs and your waist. There's a little valley under your hips, and you see a little bunching of the quilt layers here. It's not uncomfortable. This is very soft quilt foam, so you could sit right down on it and it probably won't bother you. But nonetheless, we like to just kind of point it out to people so you're not surprised when you see that in your home. So overall, we would probably say that the Series 3 medium pillow top maybe isn't the best or most adjustable base compatible within the Beautyrest Black lineup, but it is still good in this respect. The next feature we test is durability, and I know this is a big concern for a lot of mattress shoppers. And in the past, what we would have done is we would have made some estimations based on what we know about the materials and construction of the mattress about how long we think it will hold up. And we can still do that here a little bit in terms of the coil unit, which I do feel very confident about. This is a really time-tested coil unit. It's a very robust coil unit, and it uses a lot of steel, which is kind of a good barometer of just how long it will hold up. And above that, there are some much higher density foams than we see in a lot of other mattresses like this. So I think that my general sense is this would hold up well, but I don't have all the specs on all the densities of all the foams used in this mattress. So even with that information, I couldn't make as good an estimation as I would like. But I'm pleased to say that we don't have to be limited by those types of estimations anymore, because we can now test the actual durability of the mattress, simulating 10 years of actual use on that mattress by basically pounding it with huge amounts of weight repeatedly, many times. And we can then measure the amount of height loss and firmness loss at various key increments, simulating essentially what you can expect in terms of those height loss and firmness loss after a couple months of use, a year of use, a couple years of use, 5 years of use, and even 10 years of use of this mattress. Now, that test is obviously very destructive to the mattress, so we have not done it yet. But again, I can refer you to the written version of this review, which will be linked to right in the description of this video, where by the time this video gets published, you will find the results of those durability tests. And if this is something that's important to you, I'd highly recommend checking those out there. All right, now we can move on beyond the 3 F's to 3 other factors that are also going to be important to any mattress shopper, which are delivery, return policy, and warranty. And while the first 2 of those will depend on where you buy the mattress, and this, by the way, is a mattress that you may find in local stores near you, the third is one that will be the same no matter where you buy it. So let's start with that one, warranty. And in the case of the Beautyrest Black Series 3 medium pillow top, this is going to come with a 10-year non-prorated warranty. And if in case you're not kind of fluent in warranty speak, non-prorated is good. It essentially means that if any time during that 10-year period a warranty event occurs, you're going to be able to get a full replacement at no cost to you. The other key term that we always refer our readers to check in any mattress warranty is what they consider to be an allowable sag. And in the case of the Beautyrest Black here, they define that to be 1.5 inches, which is the industry standard. So that means that once a mattress has a visible sag of 1.5 inches or more, that would be a warranty event. Now, in terms of delivery and return policy, these two things will depend on where you buy the mattress. And this is a mattress that you may find in local stores near you. And in fact, you could check our website to see if there may be some retailers in your area that carry this particular mattress or Beautyrest Black more broadly. But one option that you definitely have is to buy this mattress directly from Beautyrest through their website. And if you do that, they offer a very generous return policy of 100 nights where you can try the mattress and return it at any time within that 100-night period. They do ask that you keep it for at least 30 nights just to give your body time to acclimate to the new mattress, which is a standard term in most return policies and makes sense. But other than that, you have 100 nights to completely try this mattress out in your home. And if for whatever reason you decide it's not the right one for you, you can return it and receive a full refund from them. And in terms of delivery, they also have a very generous delivery policy. They offer free delivery, including white glove service right to your bedroom, meaning they're gonna come in with this mattress, bring it all the way, not just to your doorstep, but all the way into your bedroom, set it up, remove the packaging, and even will remove your old mattress as part of that service. So that's really nice, and all of that comes free with your purchase. And that may be a particularly appealing feature in this case because this particular mattress that we received weighed in at just over 131 pounds. All right, so now let's take a peek at what's actually inside one of these Series 3 Beautyrest Black medium pillow tops. And first of all, Beautyrest lists this at 16.25 inches. You can see that the one we have is at least that much. Obviously, when you have a quilted surface like this, sometimes there can be little variations in how you, or even just, some people might count it differently when you compress the foam down in the quilt, how much foam is, what that height would have been kind of before you compressed it versus after. But nonetheless, this is at least 16.25 inches thick. And you could count this as anywhere from 8 to 10 total layers. You've got 3 layers inside this quilt, technically, 3 3/4 inch layers, adding up to just over 2 inches of foam quilted in to this quilt package. And those are mostly, the top 2 are gel memory foams. The bottom is a gel poly foam. You can see it here. The gel memory foams that are in the quilt, I can tell you, they don't have a lot of that delayed responsiveness or delayed recovery. They don't really feel like, hardcore memory foam, if you will. So you're not getting a ton of memory feel from the quilt memory foams. But technically, those are memory foams. At least 2 of the 3 in the quilt are memory foams. So the reason I said 8 to 10 layers in total, depending on how you count, is because we typically count the quilt package as just kind of 1 layer since it's all sewn together. But then below that, you've got a couple inches of certainly memory foam that would fit the bill of what you'd expect from memory foam. The first 1.5 inches is what they call dynamic response memory foam. And you can see this here is certainly slow responding. As I press down on it. It's not the slowest by any means for memory foam, but it definitely has that viscoelastic property. And then right below that, you have a 1/2 inch of what they call micro diamond memory foam. This is a material that Beautyrest came up with several years back, and it's essentially memory foam that's infused with tiny particles of diamond. It's very slow responding, and it tends to be very soft as well. It's a very soft memory foam. But there's only a 1/2 inch of it here, so it's not gonna affect the feel too much. And then nonetheless, it does kind of work in combination with the memory foam above to create like an aggregate memory feel from these 2 layers that total up to 2 inches. And that's really where the bulk of the memory feel in this mattress is coming from. It's just these 2 layers. So that's why there's not that much memory feel overall in this mattress, in spite of the fact that technically there's over 3 inches of total memory foam. This being not that slow responding, and the memory foam in the quilt being not really slow responding at all. So below that, you're looking at really faster responding materials. You got starting with 1 inch of nano coils. It's a sheet of these basically baby pocket coils. They're about the size of a quarter in diameter, and they're 1 inch tall, and they're very soft. And but when you put a sheet of them together, 2,000 of them across the surface of the mattress, they function just like a comfort layer. They tend to be actually quite conforming because of their small diameter. They can kind of just bend and twist as needed to kind of conform to the shape of your body. So that's what that layer is doing. Then you've got some transition layers below that. You've got, the first one is an inch of what they call HD comfort foam. This is definitely a firmer foam relative to what's above it. And you know, I don't know what they consider to be HD in this case. We don't have the densities here, but nonetheless, this is definitely performing a little bit more of a transition role here. It's not a viscoelastic, not a memory foam. Then you've got an 1.5 inches of latex here, and this is what they call self-response latex. That's just the name that they call it, but it is just standard latex that you find in a mattress. It's really high quality material. It's great that they have an 1.5 inches of it in here. In this case, it is definitely acting in a transition capacity, meaning it's helping transition between the softer comfort layers above and the much firmer support layers below. It is a very buoyant, supportive material, so that's a very good material to have here. Then below that, you've got an 8-inch pocket spring unit, and this is the famous Beautyrest triple-stranded coil unit. You can't see it here because it is behind the foam perimeter, which is a 4-inch foam rail that runs 360 degrees around that coil unit, and basically is there to just provide a nice, firm, solid edge for the mattress. This is a very firm support foam here, and again, it's just encasing the pocket spring unit so that you can have a good, strong edge. Inside there, you have these triple-stranded coils. If you haven't seen these before, you can look at our video that we mentioned of the entire Beautyrest Black lineup, where we show what those coils actually look like, and we describe more detail about what is compelling about them. But basically, you've got those coils in that unit, and in total, the coil count, recognizing that Beautyrest counts a triple coil, since it is 3 coils stranded together as 3 coils, is something around 1,600 in a queen size. So there's a lot of metal in here, put it that way. And then below that, you've got a 1-inch layer of just basically regular polyfoam, just to give the coils something solid to rest on, which is a standard component of any pocket spring design. So that's the insides of this mattress, and obviously there's a lot of it. And then all of that, of course, is wrapped in this cover. Starting at the top of the cover, this top panel here is made with what they call smart climate technology. Basically what that is they use some higher density yarns in this cover fabric. And there's specifically a fiber called polyethylene fiber, which you may have seen us referred to in other videos. It's essentially a higher density yarn that has sort of an inherent coolness to the touch, in much the same way that a higher density material like marble will tend to feel a little cooler than a lower density material like wood. So there's a little bit of that in here. I mean, I shouldn't say a little bit. I don't know exactly how much of this is polyethylene fiber. What I can tell you is I feel a little bit of coolness to the touch. I don't feel maybe as much as on sometimes you get down on these mattresses and they're like cold. They almost feel uncomfortably cold, to be honest. This is not like that. There's just a little bit of kind of refreshing coolness in this cover. And then you notice these little silver flecks. That's just to signify that you're in Series 3. You could refer again to our overview of the entire collection for more context around how they distinguish between Series 1, 2, 3, and 4 in different visual ways, but that's one of the main ways. And then basically beyond that, you just have kind of these nice side panels and really just luxurious touches that are typical of Beautyrest Black. I mean, they've got this kind of velvet side panel of the pillow top here, signifying the kind of upper comfort layers. It's very soft and elegant. Then you got these handles here, and there's 8 of these, which is really nice. They got 2 on each end as well as 2 on each side. They also have that same velvet on the backing of them as well as kind of on the sides of them, which is nice. So they're very elegant looking, but also very functional. We've been using them to move the mattress around, which is nice because this is a mattress that weighed in, the one we received, at 131 pounds. So in a queen size. So it's a pretty beefy mattress. That's definitely well on the heavier side of the mattresses that we've tested. So that's a really nice feature. And overall, you just have these kind of nice, elegant finishes that Beautyrest Black is really known for, signifying the quality of the mattress and what's inside. So there you have it. I hope you found this to be a helpful review of the Beautyrest Black Series 3 Medium Pillow Top. Again, before I go, I just want to leave you with a few really helpful follow-up resources for you, all of which will be linked to right from the description of this video. The first one being our overview videos of both the entire Beautyrest Black quilted collection, which includes 20 total models, 19 other than this one, and then also the Beautyrest Black Hybrid Collection, which is 11 other models. We've got overview videos of both of those that you can find in the description of this video. And on top of that, I would also refer you to the written version of this review where you can access the results of our tests as it relates to cooling and durability that I referenced earlier in the video. And I'd refer you to our website where you can look up any model in the Beautyrest Black lineup that you may be considering and easily access all of the assessments that we've made of each of the individual characteristics that we covered in this video in a really convenient form that you could even compare side by side with any other mattress in this collection or any other mattress you may be looking at more generally. So I'd highly recommend taking advantage of those resources. And in the meantime, thanks for watching, and I really hope you sleep well.